not to do that badge anymore. But fortunately, for the most part, it's been user moderation of content.
Awesome. Last question.
I've got a question about multi-channel analytics. So with the various different channels you're using for marketing, whether it's social media, paid search, organic, or web-generated for quality score, what tools are you using to qualify and quantify traffic coming from various channels for downloads, conversions?
Good questions. Anyone?
Oh, I'm John Decker on a digital marketing company called Driven Time. That's why I'm asking.
Cool, thank you.
I feel you're like, what? Well, I've got a solution for you. We so early. Like we build our own tools right now, and you probably have a better answer.
Do you track the traffic that's coming from the various social media channels to download?
We don't do social media stuff. We're a mobile rewards network.
Coming forward. How do you track?
So we are collecting a lot of data, as you can imagine. Next step for us is to build a solid dashboard and talk to data warehousing guys to start building this, because we are analyzing now, as you can imagine, being on multiple platforms and also multiple monetization options. And there's no single player out there that delivers all that. So we really have to tie it all together and look at all the options, buy, build, or partner.
I mean, we've been building all of our own tools in-house too, and I think that is, definitely, for tracking internal stuff and just the impact it has on usage, you really can't do it better than tracking your own internal server data and things like that.
Okay. So with that, I want to have a quick final thought. Any advice, suggestions, and thoughts for our audience, and especially around trends. This is a big, still Wild West. There's tons of things changing on a daily basis. I actually would just hang out with some of my friends from China. It's just mind-boggling. Just China alone, there's 400 million mobile users. It's like more than, this is one of the trends that I think definitely everybody should be aware of. What are some of the other things or any final thought you'd like to share with the audience?
I think something that's important, but I mean, it seems like it should be obvious, but I think a lot of people aren't necessarily realizing is that tell a story about how you're solving a real problem that you have. Don't just do something because it's a trend. Just because location-based services are hot and deals are hot, I mean, don't try to go build another Groupon. There's plenty of other Groupons out there. Try to do something that solves a problem that you have, a frustration that you have, and then be able to tell that story in a really concrete way. And that's the thing, again, that I said about finding partnerships was about telling a story. But I think everything in food spotting has been about telling a story. The Women 2.0 started Weekend Success was telling that story, and that's how we were able to raise money and telling the story of what we want to become. And we really, we tell people eventually we want to be like the Pandora for food recommendations, this really smart app for finding great food wherever you go. We're not that yet. Right now it's just about finding local, the nearest thing to you or things from your friends. But we could be that, and by telling that story to investors, that's what they buy into, and they're excited about, that we're excited about, and that we're hoping to build a team around that passion and that vision. Speaking of which, we're also trying to build our team around that vision, so if that's something that excites you, or if you know of any other mobile developers or Rails developers, we'd love to hear from you.
We're hiring too. Trends, yes, sir. I totally agree. Following trends, it's good to be aware. I think the two biggest trends I'm sort of trying to mobilize around or just observe and keep a close eye on. First is the mobile wallet trend. Visa and Amex and every major financial services / anything involving money company is getting into not just mobile payments, but mobile wallets. So sort of aggregating your credit cards, your loyalty cards, your gift cards, anything that involves anything related to wealth into some kind of a mobile hub. That is huge, and that is going to be a war fought with many billions of dollars. The second trend is the pendulum always shifts. This is history repeating itself. The pendulum always shifts between the carriers, the OEMs, and the developers in terms of power. And right now, the pendulum is shifting towards carriers. And I think when you're seeing companies like Verizon create a very robust developer community, having first dibs on technologies and being able to tell them what new technologies are going to be rolled out in their network, and controlling the technologies that are live on their network, like 4G, LTE, and other fun stuff like that, you start to see that type of power moving towards them. And then also their ability to default install games and social apps and all that stuff. You can see traction from just companies coming out of nowhere, companies like Kobo, which is an e-reader company, or e-publishing, whatever. That's the third runner-up to Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and they're default installed on 11 Android tablets that are coming out, and that is just insanity. And that's the type of carrier power that we'll see very insanely prominent in the coming months.
Yeah, besides China, the other BRIC countries are really taking off. And it's not just users; it's also minutes. I think from a minutes perspective, latest I checked was India was by far the #1 when it comes to minutes per UU. Then social has been mentioned. Not only the mobile wallet, the rewards, the whole wave of rewarding people, whether it's through virtual currency or other means, it's huge. And I think from that perspective, Keep is kind of on the is where really local and the rewards is coming together. So that's an interesting one. Like to see how that scales. But those are definitely trends. And then I'm still wondering where the other platforms are going. Tablets, whereas we just had 2 days of Android versus Chrome. I'd love to see where that is going as well. Thank you.
So let's give these guys a big round of applause. So thank you so much for sharing the fun ideas, all the cool trends and magic. So these guys have done an amazing job. So now I'm going to actually turn quickly to Dolphin. They are one of our sponsors tonight, and he's going to do a 2-minute quick demo on what Dolphin is about. You can hear here.
Great, thank you, Edith. My name is David Dagan, and I'm going to introduce you to Dolphin browser made by MobileTap. We're a very small mobile development company based in Beijing, and we have also an office in San Jose. So how many of you guys use Android phone? Would you rate it? Great. We are actually, Dolphin browser is a replacement browser for Android devices. We have much more extra functionality and than the default browser that comes with your OS. We will demo it to you in 1 second. We're super proud of the download numbers that we have had over the past year. Without really any marketing or just getting out there, we've been able to, just through word of mouth, get to 5 million users. Mobile browsing on devices is very challenging. Their screen real estate is very limited. You have tons of navigational challenges with navigating between tabs or launching new links. And generally, users are overwhelmed by content. And these are the key areas that we are trying to focus and address with our browser. For us, our browser is super optimized for touch. And you will see it in a second, how we launch links and switch between tabs. We are also really focused on bringing new level of readability and experience to mobile browsing by designing this view called WebZine, which is a magazine type of a view for normal websites. Our platform is super extensible. So far, we have had over about 80 add-ons and extensions for our mobile browser, and we're constantly adding more, or we have capability for third parties to add more. Even though today the browser, Dolphin browser is only available for Android-based devices, we are about to release the iPhone or iPad version of it very soon in the coming months. It's a free browser. You can go and download it today, and we will show it to you in 1 second some of these features. So as my colleague Yujo is going to demonstrate. So this is like mobile, our homepage. Instead of like very simple static links of to different websites, we can show you in a much more richer way. We have a gesture-based navigation, so you don't have to go into the browser, type the URL, which is very awkward with soft keyboard. You can define your own gestures and use that for navigation. We also have introduced the left nav and right nav bar menus to just really use the real estate of the phone in a more interesting way. Just some flash to make it fun as you switch between different tabs. And then there are other applications like Flipboard that allow you to experience content in a much more richer way. But we envision that being super integrated into the browser. There's no reason why you cannot go to the CNN homepage and then browse it using a much richer way of seeing that content as opposed to tons of real estate that is taken by menus and ads and other things on a normal website. Really like to thank Edith for this opportunity, and we would really encourage you to download the free version of the Dolphin browser on Android and wait for it to come on iPad very soon. Thank you very much.